Hello, everyone. Come on in. Hi, everyone. Hi. Oh, excuse me. Oh, poo. I'll be right back, y'all. I left my water downstairs. Gotta get my water. All right, I'm back. I left my water downstairs. Hi, everyone. Let me find Teanna, see if she's here and bring her over here to be with us. Dun, 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 dun. There she is. Yay! She comes. Yay! I'm so excited. There we go. Hello, Teanna. Yay! Hi, pretty lady.
Hi.
Hi.
There we go.
Not on here, and then I left my water downstairs. I was like, oh, I gotta go get my water.
It has been the same kind of morning here.
Hi, hello.
Hi.
Welcome and welcome all these amazing people that are hopping on our webinar, and thank you all for joining us today. I think what we'll do here first is we'll just introduce ourselves for you guys that came from TikTok and maybe have never been to an Actors Fast Track event. And if this is your first Actors Fast Track event, drop it in the chat. Let us know where you're calling in from, and so for you guys that don't know me, my name is Valerie Hubbard. I'm the founder of Actors Fast Track. We're in the business of changing the way actors do business. And I've been a working actor for 35 years, and I've been working with actors for 25 of those 35 years. And we have a lot of amazing people on here. And we recently, this last year, discovered this amazing woman next to me, Teanna Campbell. And so Teanna, just introduce yourselves and tell everyone about a little bit about you.
Okay. Well, my name is Teanna Campbell. She already covered that. I'm a manifestation self-proclaimed expert, but pretty much just an expert and coach. And I'm the owner of Thug Mermaid. It's a manifestation store. So I have been studying and applying and then teaching manifestation for going on 10 years. I have a lot of experience in what does not work, and therefore have been able to narrow down what really does work so that manifestation can be super simple and applicable to everyone. And then I just go around showing people how to do that so they can live lives that they actually like, hopefully love, instead of just what has kind of been handed to them so far. So that's kind of me in a nutshell.
Awesome. Okay. So I have something funny to tell you. And then the first question I do want to start it in with, for some of these people have never had any experience with manifestation. So I want to know, like, what is manifestation and how does it work? Like, that's where I want to start. But, you know, for myself personally, I've been to Abraham Hicks events and read The Secret and done a lot of manifesting over the years. And so I have to tell you something funny, because I know you'll really appreciate this. every year I write down my goals for that year. And we were talking about it today with our clients, and I always write them down like they already happened, right? And my first goal on my 2022 list this year was, I'm the healthiest I've ever been at 143 pounds, and I feel fantastic. And you talk a lot in your work about not being concerned with the how and that sort of thing. So 2 weeks ago, I had emergency surgery. I had an organ removed from my body, my gallbladder, and I have currently lost 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Going back to work, and I was like, I'm looking at, like, I print out my goals and I put them in a thing and I can see them all the time, right? And I was like, that's not what I meant. And then I saw it, like, oh my God, I was listening to you the other morning. My husband and I were both listening to you, by the way. It's great. And I was like, because like, you talk about that sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it. So I just had to tell you, I manifested that, and it showed up differently than I was. I was like, I'm going to join Weight Watchers, and that's how I'm going to lose weight. Well, that's not how it happened. So
I did the same thing this year. In September, I had to have an emergency surgery that also helped me with losing weight. It was a very big ordeal, but I was like, well, I guess that happened. So I completely get it. There is a little trick. So you can add, like, at the end of your affirmation, like, you would put, like, I weigh 143 pounds and I'm the healthiest I've ever been, in a kind and gentle way. Like, just add, I've learned from experience, a lot of things you want to add that in a kind and gentle way so that you're not, like, shoved traumatically towards your goals, because the universe, it does listen and it will manifest what you want. But when you're specific about it being in a kind and gentle way, it does make the process a lot easier.
I'm right. All right. So what is manifestation and how does it work?
Okay. So that's actually the very beginning of my notes. I want to start with a disclaimer for everyone who's watching. I did this last time I came on here, but I kind of have a potty mouth, a lot of a potty mouth, and it gets exasperated when I'm very passionate about what I'm talking about. I talk so fast that I cannot filter myself. So if you have, like, children or people in the room who are very sensitive to, like, the F-bombs, you might want to usher them out of the room, because they will come flying out. I just want to start by saying that so no one can be mad at me in 5 minutes when that happens. But so talking about what manifestation is and how it works, it can be explained both scientifically, which is how I got into it, which is why I teach it a little bit different. I come from more of a scientific subconscious mind approach to it. But basically what it is it's dealing with your subconscious mind and releasing old beliefs and reprogramming it with new beliefs so that you can experience what it is that you want to experience in the physical world. So a lot of the time you'll hear people refer to the physical world as the 3D, because basically what it is, it's kind of an illusion that you have created in your mind. I'm not gonna go super deep into that because it can kind of, like, make it sound more complicated than it really is. But basically everyone lives in their own reality that they have created using their assumptions and their beliefs. That's why you have people who, like, everything seems to go right for. You have people who are super happy and just absolutely love their life. And then you have really miserable people with terrible luck and everything kind of goes down the shitter for them. It's because your reality is an illusion that you have created. And so what manifestation is creating the 3D reality that you actually want to experience versus what you have just kind of been handed so far. and then you use the reprogramming of those beliefs to actually make it happen. So it's using your mind to make things happen versus like using your body and your physical strength and your physical actions and trying to force something to happen. Metaphysically speaking, there are a lot of different teachings about manifestation. It's a very hot topic right now that a lot of people want to hop in on teaching. I really advise people to be careful with who you're following when it comes to manifestation, because most of the time what people are teaching is actually a mirror of their own limiting beliefs. And so they will say things like, you have to do it this way, you can't do this, you have to feel this way. And none of that is actually true. So the more people you follow when it comes to manifestation, the more difficult it actually is. But it's really just the super simple process of using the laws of the universe to experience what it is that you want to experience. The more popular one that people teach right now is the law of attraction. If you've heard of manifestation, the chance that you've heard of the law of attraction is very high. If you've ever watched like The Secret, that's based off of the law of attraction. Abraham Hicks, Esther Hicks, whatever you want to call them, they're based off of the law of attraction. That is the most popular way that it's explained, but I find that it's not the most effective, all governing way to manifest. So I teach the law of assumption. It's a little bit different, but it gives you a lot more power. What it boils down to is that your own assumptions of your life, of your reality, and of yourself is what you will experience. So I don't know if you want me to go super deep into it right now, or if you have another question you want me to
No,
answer.
No, it's awesome. And so, yeah,
Okay.
talk to me a little bit about the law of assumption, because I think that's really important for them to, it's, and I want to say something about something you said as well. And I know we had our mastermind with our clients this morning, and one of my clients said, it always is about my mindset, and really, it always is, right?
Mhm.
Like it's always your mindset. And so you said, and that's what I find is 90% of the work that I'm doing with our clients to achieve their acting dream it's always this that's getting in the way of them getting what they want.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the law of assumption.
So actually, with what you were just saying follows like really well in line with my notes. Just for everybody watching who doesn't know me, like I know y'all are super comfortable in front of cameras. They actually scare the shit out of me. So I have notes that I rely on heavily so that I don't like go super crazy. So the issue with the subconscious mind or your assumptions is that they are programmed and the most accessible when you're an adolescent. So between like the ages of 5 and 12 is when your subconscious mind is most susceptible to outside programming, whether that comes from parents, school teachers, caregivers, whoever it is that you spend time around who tell you things is who is programming your subconscious mind. And when you're 7 years old, when you're 5 years old, you're not filtering out what it is that they're saying so that you're only keeping the beneficial programming, right? You're soaking all of it in. So when you hear things like money doesn't grow on trees, or life isn't fair, or I'm sure a lot of you, through telling people like what your career goals are, have heard things from people about how difficult it is to make it in the entertainment industry, or how much you have to work and hustle and fail and go through, you know, shitty auditions and crappy parts, whatever it is that you've been told about. Sorry, my cat's on my table shaking my phone. You know, whatever it is that people have told you about your chosen career, you soak that in and it becomes an assumption, so that whether or not you are aware of it, you have the assumption, the belief that you have to work really hard, that there's a really big chance you're going to fail, that making it is almost impossible, right? And so you're going to these auditions and you're putting in all of the work for your ideal career, but you're really fighting against your mind because you're not aware that you have those background assumptions. And so it can make the mindset work a little bit more difficult when you're not working towards undoing the programming of when you were younger, because that does like soak deep into your subconscious mind. So that's why we do the mindset work, the work with the subconscious mind, the affirmations and the setting intentions, because what you're working on is releasing those old beliefs so that the new ones can slide in and just make everything flow to you rather than you chasing something. Does that answer what you were asking?
Yes, it's like the difference between walking in the room like this, which most actors walk into the room with, which is like the baggage that you talk about, like the assumptions and the baggage, and walking into the room like, right, like this, like I'm here, I'm ready, I've got a great opportunity for you, a great choice for you that I made. And yes, we are sold, oh my God, girl, actors, we're sold a bill of goods. I'll tell you, we're told it's the hardest thing you can do, it's all about luck, there's not enough acting jobs to go around, there's more actors. And so, right, they're not casting white people. I mean, I could just go down the list of everything that we're told. And so when people show up to a call with me, they bring all the baggage with them, right? And it's like, wow, it's like, you know, and it's been really interesting because I've been, you know, I'm recently on TikTok and everything, and I see some of the negative comments, and I think I'm like, they're so not impossibility. Right? They're so like, this is the way it is. This is the way it always will be. And you're wrong. And yet you look at the resume and they don't have anything on the resume. And you think, oh my God, what if you could actually step into the possibility that you could do X, Y, and Z, or whatever you want to do in your career. And it's so amazing to me how we take ourselves out of any possibility of getting the thing that we want.
Yeah, a lot of people were programmed really from a young age. If you pay attention to like a 3 or a 4-year-old, right, when they're playing pretend, they believe that absolutely anything is possible. They're going to grow up and they're going to be a princess. They're going to grow up and they're going to be an astronaut or the president. Like, they really wholeheartedly believe that they can accomplish absolutely anything. And then as they grow older, that sense of anything is possible gets dimmed very frequently from the people around them wanting them to be more realistic, the people around them wanting to understand the hard work that they're going to have to put in, the people around them who, you know, really might have their best interests at heart, but start to really limit their belief in what they're able to do, to where then they're like, you know what, I think I'm just going to be something that sounds really easy, because they no longer believe in the impossible being possible for them. But when you are young, like 3-4 years old, if you pay attention to them, they don't have those limiting beliefs yet because it hasn't been programmed in. So the acts of manifestation and the mindset work and the believing that anything is possible is really just kind of going back to those ages of 3 and 4, when you believe you are infinite, when you believe that you can accomplish absolutely anything you want to, and really allowing yourself to believe that that's possible for you.
Awesome.
That's what.
So if I want to get into beginning to change and become a manifester, what are some of the things that I could be doing to do that? Besides watching all your videos on YouTube, which you definitely all do.
Perfect. So really, again, I like to keep it very, very simple. If you follow too many people or you study too much, that's funny, Crystal, because I actually am an accountant because I gave up on what I wanted to do. But so I like to keep it very simple. A lot of people want to give you a list of like 58 things that you need to do to manifest. I'm just going to tell you that anytime someone gives you a list of you have to do A, B, C, and they seem hard, and the person is like, I can teach you how to do these, the only reason they say that's their process is they want you to hire them. Because it really is super simple. It does not have to be complicated. It is not something that you need someone to teach you how to do for years and years and years. What you do when you are manifesting, the very first step is really simple. It's just deciding what you want. A lot of people, surprisingly, when you ask them like what they actually want out of life, they don't necessarily know like the specifics. So I could ask some of y'all what you want to do with your career, and the simple answer would be, I want to be a working actor, actress. Well, that looks different for every single one of you. I guarantee it. Some of you probably like want to work on, sitcoms. Some of you want to be in movies. Some people want to be in dramas. Some people want to be in comedies. Some people want to do plays. Like, there are a lot of different ways to be in your career field. So you want to narrow that down and get specific. What do you actually want? And once you are specific with that, you start to reprogram your beliefs and assumptions so that it can happen easily and faster. Very simply put, after deciding what you want, you put it into an affirmation format. So kind of like what you were talking about when you showed us your list, you say like what it is that you want to have happen. You never want to put it in the future tense, like I will be a working actress. You want it to be in the right now, or the, like you did, in the past tense. So I just do like super simple affirmations. I mainly teach money and business manifestation. And so like a lot of my clients would have affirmations like, I make $2,000 a day. Like they narrowed down what they want. They know what amount they want. They make $2,000 a day. And what you do with that affirmation is you just kind of put it on loop in your head. So most of the time, our thoughts run our mind versus us running our thoughts. If you ever stop and pay kind of attention to what your brain is doing, it's going off on tangents, and it's like, I need to do this, I need to do this, oh my god, this is so hard, I can't fucking accomplish this, I'm so overwhelmed. Like, your brain is running your show versus you telling it what to do. So if you slow it down and you are consciously aware and you are putting thoughts deliberately into your subconscious mind, by repeating them, you are in control instead of letting your mind be in control. So you take your affirmation and you put it on loop in your mind, where you're just, I make $2,000 a day. I make $2,000 a day. I make $2,000 a day. while you're driving, while you're falling asleep. You just have that repeating in your mind. Like those 2 steps alone make all of the difference when it comes to manifestation, because you're doing the reprogramming and you're doing the releasing of old beliefs. When you are repeating your affirmations, your mind will actually tell you what limiting beliefs you have. So if you are repeating the affirmation, I make $2,000 a day, you'll find that like a little thought pops up that says something like, oh my God, that's going to take so much work. Right? That right there is your limiting belief, like making itself known. You have to work your ass off in order to make a lot of money. So you would just stop it and course correct right there. What I find is helpful is I ask myself, do I want to believe this? So anytime I have any kind of thought pop up, I pause and I say, do I actually want to believe that? Is that beneficial for me? And if the answer is no, I ask myself what I would like to believe instead. So if it came up and it said that making that amount of money is going to be really hard, I would be like, no, I want to believe that making money is the easiest thing I've ever done. So then I would take that assumption that I currently have and I would correct it by saying, making money is the easiest thing I've ever done. I make $2,000 a day. Making money is the easiest thing I've ever done. And so you course correct it when those contradictory assumptions pop up. So if you are, manifesting a certain role and you are affirming for it, I love that I get to play the role of blank. I love that I get to play the role of blank. And the thought pops up that says, are you fucking kidding? You're up against, Jennifer Aniston. She's going to get the part. You would ask yourself, do I want to believe that? Is that beneficial to me? No. What would I like to believe instead? I easily beat Jennifer Aniston, in the audition, whatever. And so then you would repeat that in addition to how grateful you are, how much you love the current role. So anytime anything contradictory comes into your mind, that is a limiting belief that you have. And by being consciously aware of that and changing it into a beneficial belief, you are reprogramming your subconscious mind so that you can receive what it is that you want. So that is how I go about manifesting. I just keep it very simple.
I like what you said. I started doing what you told me to do about the 10 minutes, the 10 minutes I set after I do my meditation in the morning, I set my alarm for 10 minutes and I just do what I'm manifesting right now for 10 minutes. And then, you also said if you had other things that you were manifesting in a different route, you do 10, 10, and 10, I think is what you said. And so I've been just doing the 10 minutes a day, the 10 minutes a day. And what I've seen and what you said about like not knowing what you want. Oh my God. I ask actors all the time what they want. And for myself, I did a lot of Deepak Chopra meditations, and they center you in the heart and they say, ask your heart what you want. And every time I would do that, I'd be like, oh, I don't fucking know. Like it wouldn't come up. Like I didn't know what I wanted. And so I just became patient with myself, because I think that a lot of times the thing that you want, like all the things that you're talking about, the counter thoughts pop up in the way. And I can hear some of these actors saying, I want a leading role in a sitcom that I get paid for. That's a very clear thing. I have a leading role in a sitcom. But then the thought comes up, oh, I have to have an agent for that. Well, maybe I should want an agent. Right. And like how it happens is what shows up. And so what happens for me is like when I ask myself what I want, what shows up is I've not gotten it already. That's really hard to do. It never happens. And so, or my limited belief, especially around money, is what comes up. So what I've learned and you've really helped me with that. Your videos have helped me so much, but I've learned to continue to say it, even if in the beginning I don't believe it. And I like listening to your affirmations, like the one where it's like the yo bitch affirmations where you go hard for like 36 minutes. And that's when we were listening to yesterday, because it's like, I also see you go into the flow of it. Like I see that you allow it to take you where it goes. And I really love that, because, you know, I wrote down, and I don't know if you know this, but I was listening to your manifestation video, and one of the things you said is my business blew up overnight. And I was happy because I want you to talk about how you get through depression and manifest through depression, because that's been key for me. But I woke up one day with squirrels in my brain. You know what that's like, right? Where you're like, so I meditated, I did the manifestation exercise, and I came up here and I still was like in a bad space, you know? So I watched your video, and you said about how you manifest through depression. And you said, write down, you know, these things. And you gave some examples, like my business blew up overnight. I wrote down my business blew up overnight. And then I turned on TikTok and I had a video that had gone viral. And I went from 700 followers overnight to 3,000 followers.
That's amazing.
And I was like, that shit works. Right? And then, of course, I said, of course, because that's what you said. When you get it, you go, of course that happened. Of course my business blew up overnight. Yeah. So how do I get through this depression or defeat, or when I feel like I've been doing this and it's not happening fast enough?
Okay. So let's talk about depression first, and then we'll go into defeat, because they are very different. I know a lot of people feel defeated when they're depressed, but that's okay and doesn't actually matter. So I think that's what kind of sets me apart from other people a little bit. Everyone, almost, if you go into manifestation, is very love and light and hippy dippy and rainbows shooting out of their ass. And they tell you that that's how you need to feel in order to manifest. And so for a long time, I kind of felt left out of the manifestation world, because I don't like to say suffered. I've experienced depression since I was like 11 or 12. Like basically, as long as I can remember having thoughts, I have been blessed to experience very extreme depression, like to the point where, you know, those forms at the doctor's office that they give you before your visit, I was always afraid to fill those out, because I knew they were going to put me in like a psychiatric facility. Like I always have scored off the charts because my depression is so wonderfully strong. And so for a really long time, I felt like I wouldn't be able to get manifestation to work for me. And when I started diving into the law of assumption, I realized that all of that hippy dippy rainbows out of your ass bullshit was someone else's assumption. And so this is what I mean when I say like other people will pass on their limiting beliefs. Like you have to feel good in order to manifest. And so I think a lot of people feel defeated before they even try, because they don't know how to feel high vibe all the time. In all honesty, I think it's impossible to feel high vibe all the time. I think that is a completely unrealistic goal. And when you are attempting to feel that way all the time, what you're really doing is suppressing your true emotions. The reason that is a problem is because if you think of your emotions like a pressure cooker, the longer you hold things in, the more you shove them down, the more that you stuff in there, at some point, that fucker's just going to explode. Like you cannot hold in all those negative emotions forever by covering them with love and light and rainbows. So getting the expectation that you're supposed to feel that way all the time out of your head is really the most beneficial thing you can do. After I did that, I realized that everything is really just governed based on your assumptions. So these other people have the assumption that you have to feel good to manifest. That's great if it works for them. But I want to manifest even when I feel like shit. I want to manifest even when I'm laying in bed sobbing and I don't want to get out of bed for the third day in a row because I just feel like I am exhausted and worn out from life. I still want to be able to manifest. I want to manifest no matter how I feel. And so I created the affirmation that I manifest no matter how I feel. And I would literally be in bed, like sobbing, crying, breaking down, but repeating my affirmations and then repeating that I manifest no matter how I feel. I manifest when I feel like shit. I manifest when I cry. I manifest when I sleep. I manifest when I'm frustrated. I manifest when I'm upset. The only thing I have to do is affirm. Like, that's it. It doesn't matter how I feel. As long as I'm affirming what it is that I want, then it's going to work out for me and I'm going to receive it. I manifest even if I don't believe it, because that is another common thing that happens when you're, struggling with depression. But when you're manifesting that your life is perfect and wonderful and everything works out for you, you don't believe that because you're in a space where you're not experiencing it yet. And so it's really difficult to manifest that life is perfect and wonderful and everything works out if you're like, oh my God, but I feel like shit. So I would affirm that I manifest even if I don't believe it. All I have to do is repeat it. It happens. It doesn't matter if I believe it. I manifest no matter how I feel. Everything works out for me. It's fine. You can be doing that while you're sobbing and breaking down and having a panic attack and all of those things. It doesn't matter because you manifest no matter how you feel. Something that I very quickly realized while doing that is the emotion itself doesn't necessarily matter. I can't really speak for all of you, but I'm assuming you have experienced it because of your career field, like it's your job to go through emotions. When I feel things like happy or sad, I feel them very strongly. So I don't really have like a middle neutral ground. I'm either feeling really happy or I'm feeling really upset or I'm feeling really motivated. Like, when I feel things, I feel them very deeply. And I realized that the emotion itself didn't matter, whether I was feeling the really intense happy or the really intense sad. It didn't matter. All that mattered was that the emotion itself was intense. And so even if I was feeling really unhappy or really sad, if I was still repeating my affirmations, the vibration itself is still very strong. It might be, I don't call them negative emotions, but I know that's what they're classified as. It might be a negative emotion like sadness, frustration, mad, overwhelm, whatever. All that matters is that you're feeling it deeply. So a lot of people would advise you to like cover up those feelings with the love and light. I'm like, fucking feel as mad as you want to, feel as sad as you want to, like feel that in your soul, like let it consume you while repeating your affirmation, because it's the intensity of that vibration that kind of sends your message out into the universe or really latches onto your subconscious mind, whichever way you want to explain it. It's the intensity of that emotion that does the reprogramming. It's not that negative things are getting programmed because you're repeating a positive affirmation, if that makes sense. What the affirmation is that you're repeating is what is being reprogrammed. The problem is that when people really do feel those very strong negative emotions, what they're doing is affirming those. So like when people are really depressed, you'll find that they're repeating affirmations of like why their life sucks, or they have the worst luck, or, you know, it's never going to get better. It's not that they're feeling sad or upset or depressed that's doing the reprogramming. It's the way that they're speaking to themselves. So you can feel the negative emotions while repeating positive affirmations, and you're still helping yourself. You're still doing the reprogramming because you have that very intense vibration with the actual affirmation or intention. So when I am feeling bad, I let myself go in a room and scream it out or cry it out, whatever, while repeating what it is that I'm manifesting. And knowing that just doing that is enough. I don't need to try to make myself feel undepressed. You can still manifest through all of those emotions just by saying you manifest no matter how you feel. Does that?
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good because, you know, I mean, everyone on here understands what you're talking about because I've never met an actor that doesn't have roller coaster feelings. My mom used to say about me, Valerie's either really happy or really sad. Like, you know, like I'm the same way. Like there was never, I don't know what middle ground is either. And I think a lot of actors do not know what that is. And so one of the things is when I'm teaching them business and separating the feeling of from that and just doing the business. So one thing we talked about this morning on the mastermind was creating systems that allow you to function even if you're having a nervous breakdown, even if you're in the emotion. So like if I have the system of setting the clock at 10 minutes every morning and just saying the manifestation, even if I'm like, you know, I'm never going to do this because mine is I make $100,000 a month, right? I make $100,000 a month. I make $100,000 a month. And sometimes I'm like, oh my God, like it's never going to happen. It's all blah, 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 blah. I've been trying for this for so long and all the shit that happens. And it's like, just say it, right? Just say it, just say it, because sometimes you have to soldier through. And so the systems for us are really, really important. Even when we have those days where we want to stay in bed all day, if we have systems. So we are talking now in Actors Fast Track about like email systems that help you send out emails that you don't even have to deal with. They send it out for you. Right. Perfect. And so, yeah, you know, so deal with that. I want to say this to everyone on here. You guys, we have a Q&A. So please put in your questions now, populate them into the Q&A. We've got a few more things to discuss with Teanna, and then I'm sure she'll be happy to answer your questions. Oh, yeah. We can't do it in the chat. The chat goes too fast. Make sure you populate it into the Q&A. So you said that defeated was different. That so for me, defeated is, you know, I've been following Valerie's system for 2 years and I haven't gotten cast in a TV show yet. I haven't gotten cast in a movie. This shit doesn't work and I'm giving up. That defeated. So how do I get past that? And
so when you're feeling that way, a lot, like right there where you just, you know, went on like the quitting tangent, that itself highlights a lot of limiting beliefs. So as soon as like I were to say something like that, I would be like, okay, it hasn't happened in 2.5 years. This isn't working. I have the belief that this isn't working. So then you would kind of want to shift your attention to focus on what the issue is, the issue being that you don't believe it works. So you would want to go back and be like, I manifest even if I don't believe it. And you would work on that. when you are feeling defeated, it often happens because you want something to happen in your time, or because contradictory circumstances pop up into your 3D. We are always manifesting, like always. Every single thought that you have is a manifestation, and that is what comprises the 3D reality that you experience. The thing with that is it's not always instantaneous. So if you are manifesting, the example you used earlier was like a role on a sitcom, right? That's what you're manifesting. And you find that like the parts that you're auditioning for are going to people that you feel are less talented, or you maybe aren't even getting called for the auditions. I'm not 100% sure with like the process of how it works, but you know, like it feels like everything is just kind of going wrong for you. The explanation for that, I call it the transition period. So what is happening, you'll find really often when you're manifesting things that it feels like almost the opposite is happening. Like there's this void of what it is that you want, and everything seems to be going against you.
Yes.
What is happening is all of those old manifestations, all of those old thoughts and those old beliefs, like they have to leave somehow. They have to exit your body, exit your subconscious mind, and be released, because you can't put the new stuff in there and cover up the old stuff. There's like a limited, you can't believe two things at the same time. So you can't believe that this is really hard and that this is really easy at the same time. So when you're reprogramming your mind that this is really easy, everything that would be evidenced by this is really hard has to come out, right?
Oh my God.
And
Blew
so
my mind just now.
so you experience like all of this really shit stuff, and it seems like it happens really fast, like everything goes wrong all at the same time. What's happening is all of that bullshit like leaving your subconscious mind and going out, and because it's a manifestation, you might experience some of it in the 3D, some of it you don't have to experience, but there is this resistance, right? And so I have found that when it feels like things are going really, really wrong, when it feels like things are going backwards, that I'm not getting any closer to achieving my manifestation, but I'm getting farther away, if I take a step back and I remind myself, this is just the transition period. This is just old beliefs leaving. This is just the resistance exiting. This is reprogramming my subconscious mind. And all of this bullshit means that what I am manifesting is coming very soon. Something super big is going to happen. It's all going to come down overnight. Everything is going to change. So instead of like really leaning into how shitty everything feels, if instead you are in control of your mind and you decide to focus on the fact that this means really good shit is going to happen for you, then that's what you will experience. If you start to focus on how everything is going wrong, you'll find that more things will go wrong, because you're going to manifest more things going wrong by focusing on the thought of it. But if you change that and you're like, something really fucking amazing is going to happen, I'm going to get a call for this huge role. This sitcom is going to be huge. I know this is happening, and that's why all the bullshit is going on. You'll find that you are really not supplementing, but you're solidifying the things that you've been manifesting. So when I feel defeated, I just remind myself, like, it's a transition period. shit's going to turn around. This means something really big is coming. And you like hype yourself up and get really excited for what it is that's coming.
Oh my God, it makes so much sense. That just blew my mind, because that's exactly what happened. Like, I've been doing this manifestation and the opposite has been happening. And it makes so sense, because that shit has to clear out of the way for the new shit to arrive. And I get that now. Like, that makes total sense. I know, Sarah, we're going to be talking later. Sarah, you know, like, because like Sarah and I've been like on this journey together on business for a while, and we were so excited when we found you. And I don't know if she told you, but her little girl sees her necklace and she grabs it and she says money.
I love that.
Sila's almost 3 and she grabs it and she says money, and we're like,
money.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great. We got some questions, so let me go on here and see what's going on.
Okay.
Tosh, hi Tosh. Talk about manifesting. Tosh manifested a recurring role on Bel Air. I know. How does one keep the faith when you're visualizing and affirming your desires for months, but your reality is the opposite? It's kind of what we were just talking about, but go ahead, take that.
So this is actually, I had this somewhere in my notes too that I was going to go over. This is one of my favorite parts of manifestation. This isn't like a have to, this is just a I choose to. And you actually already talked about how much you love to do it. This is where I go into imaginary land. So I have this whole world in my imagination where everything is perfect, right? Like my business is perfect, my body is perfect, my house is perfect, my love life is perfect. Like everything, just if I could plan it out exactly how I want it to be, it goes in this imaginary land. Like I have this whole thing created in my brain. And so when I'm feeling like it's kind of impossible, it's been a long time, whatever, instead of dwelling on that, I set my timer. I do 12 minutes and 22 seconds because I'm so weird with numbers, but a normal like 10 minutes works. I set my timer on my phone and I go, you can lay down, you can sit down, whatever is the most comfortable for you. But I go take, I call it an affirmation break, or like just a break. I take breaks. And you go close your eyes, get relaxed, set your timer, and go visit imaginary land. So if you were just going to use the like manifesting a part in a sitcom example again, if that's what it is that you're manifesting and that is what fits into your perfect world, right? You imagine like, how do I feel having this happen to me? What would I do when this happens? How do I spend the money? How do I deal with, like the paparazzi, if that's your thing, if you want them following you around, if you don't, whatever, like you just go into all of these things in imaginary land where if everything was perfect and you wrote the script exactly as you wanted it to be, what would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? What would you do? Who would you be? And you just kind of improvise. I know all of y'all know, like you just improvise going along with it and who you are and what it looks like, how the day looks, what anything that comes up, you just kind of let your mind go with it as you're like walking down the street in imaginary land, and you live there for 10 minutes and you just feel it. You just embody it. You just kind of sink into it and let it win. I don't know if this is appropriate or not, but I'm going to tell y'all anyway. I like to maybe take like one small hit from my little pipe before I go into imaginary land, because it helps me relax and like really sink in there. I know you guys are probably a lot better at like visualizing and like making things up and being a role, because that's what you like do.
Gosh, like
I
that.
have to get really relaxed for a second before I do it. But you just go escape into imaginary land for 10 minutes, like 10 minutes. And you'll find that when you're done, you come out with this like, not just a feeling, but like this experience that really anything is possible, that your life is super fucking awesome, that things are really working out for you, and you just feel more aligned with what it is that you're manifesting. And when you do that like every day, it really becomes almost where you can't tell the difference almost between like your actual 3D and your imaginary land, because you visit it so often that the two have kind of started to feel the same. And you bring all of those feelings of anything is possible and you are infinite and your life is perfect into everything that you do in your daily life. And then shit really starts to shift. So that's how I move through like those sort of difficult times. I just make sure to take a lot of breaks. When I was when I first started my Thug Mermaid business, like it was a little bit slow in the beginning, just because I think that's the way all businesses are. But because I was so afraid of it like not working out or whatever, I would actually take like 6 breaks during the day to go manifest. Like I did it a lot, a lot. I'm not saying only do it once a day. If you want to do it more than once, do it more than once, because I would take like 6 breaks a day to go live in imaginary land so that I could deal with my overwhelm and my frustration and my whatever. So anytime you find that you're feeling kind of like negative or derogatory or whatever towards your affirmations, like just go fucking take a break, even if you have to take a lot of them.
Yeah, I think that like such a good answer. And I think a lot of times, where get your head out of the clouds, we've heard that a lot, or like, right, like daydreaming
Right.
is bad. And it's like, it's actually a good thing to be.
It's the best.
It's the best. All right, here we go. Florina, how do you change your money mindset? For years, I didn't make almost any money for real. After working a lot on myself, I started earning some money, but not nearly enough to take care of myself financially with no help. How can I forever break the idea that I will never be able to take care of myself financially with everything and anything I might need or want to buy or pay? Thank you.
Okay. So I actually had like the worst fucking relationship with money ever until just a few years ago. Like I have been a single mom since I was 22. I have 2 kids. I was a statistic from the very beginning, and we lived on food stamps. I was robbing Peter to pay Paul. I had a degree in accounting, but I could like never really make it work. I always had 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. Like I had this belief that making money was really hard and that it was impossible to get ahead. And so what I started doing were a few different things. The first one is really digging into the affirmations, but more than just affirming for the amount of money that I wanted, I kind of really asked myself, like, what beliefs do I have around money? And I found that, first of all, I had a belief that rich people are assholes. Well, subconsciously, you don't want to be an asshole. And so if you believe that having a lot of money will make you an asshole, you're not going to allow yourself to have a lot of it. So I had to reprogram the way I thought about people who have money. I had to, reprogram, like you can give a lot of money to charity, you can do a lot of good in the world, you can change people's lives, you can make a difference. Like I had to really reprogram that the assholes were just assholes because their parents taught them to be, not because they had money. That very, very nice people can have money also. And then I had to reprogram my beliefs that like making money is hard, that you have to be born into money. I had to reprogram beliefs about deserving money because I really didn't believe that I deserved to have it. And it's still something I kind of struggle with. I have like low self-esteem in some areas when it comes to like teaching and manifestation. Woohoo. But other areas of life, like I have low self-esteem, I'm insecure. And one of the places that really shone was money. So I had to reprogram my beliefs about how I deserve money, I'm worthy of money, and that money loves me. One of my favorite affirmations I still repeat hundreds of times a day is I love money and money loves me. I love money and money loves me. And I went and I made like 20 different cards, like affirmation cards, where I wrote those out, like I love money and money loves me. I'm worthy of money. It's easy for me to make money. And I literally hung them all over my house. Like they're still there. There's things all over my kitchen cupboards. They're by my thermostat. Like I have these affirmation cards everywhere in my house so that no matter where I look, I'm reminded to like solidify that belief that I'm worthy of money and that money flows to me easily. And so really reprogramming the beliefs that you have about yourself when it comes to money is one of the most beneficial things you can do. Another thing that really helped me, and this sounds crazy, but I promise if you try it, you'll be like, holy fucking shit, this is amazing, is I started healing my relationship with money. So I stopped thinking of money as like this outside thing. I stopped thinking of it as something physical, and I kind of started to think about it like as if money were your boyfriend, right? When it shows up and does something nice for you, it wants to be appreciated. When it, pays a bill for you, it wants to know that it is pleasing you, that it's doing something that you want it to do. And so I would start like every time I ran my debit card, even at like the gas station or the grocery store, just in my head, because even though it's crazy, I don't want other people to know I'm crazy. I would just be like, oh my God, thank you so much. I appreciate you for buying these groceries for me. Or I appreciate you for this gas that you put in my car. Like, thank you for always showing up for me. You're always there when I need you. And I would start like every night writing this love letter, very, very short. I'm not saying it has to be like pages, like mine was just a couple, like a paragraph. I would write like a love letter to money, like, hey, I really appreciate you for showing up for me today. I know that sometimes I don't treat you the best, or I talk about how much I hate money, or that you're never around, and I just wanted to apologize for saying those things to you. I'm really grateful for you and I appreciate you, and you can come visit me as often as you'd like. And so I would just start really developing this deep like relationship with money versus treating it like a physical thing.
Yeah.
And so that's how I really changed the money story.
So good. Florina, I want to tell you that like it's been a long journey with me, and we were talking about this on our mastermind with our clients this morning. When I was little, Teanna, I went to the ice cream truck, and back then popsicles were a dime, and my dad gave me a dime, and a little kid told me that the nickel was worth more than the dime. And so I traded him. And then when I got to pay for my popsicle, I couldn't get it because I didn't have enough money. And in that moment, I was 5 years old. I told myself, Valerie, you're so stupid with money. And then 45 years later, when I started Actors Fast Track, I came, smack up against that, and it was so ingrained in my mind. And so I want to tell you, for me, the journey has been like a layer of onion. And it's, and you, like, I don't think I would have been ready for the manifesting of money if I hadn't done, like, You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. This is a great book. This is a great book. I read it like 5 times. Everyone at Actors Fast Track reads it. Or the money coaches that I've worked with and the money programs I've done. And it really is true what you said about changing your relationship to money, right? Changing it in a positive way. Because my relationship was like, ooh, scary money, run away from it. That was where mine was. I'm bad with it, so I'm going to run away with it. And a lot of it is just like waking up every morning and looking at your bank account, even if it's negative, looking at your bank account and just saying, okay, bank account, thank you for being there to hold my money. There's money coming to be in there, right? Like repairing that relationship. So thank you, because it's been a journey for me, a big journey. So
I still go through it. Like I still manifest different things, right? Like when I started my business, it was I wanted to make $10,000 a month, and then 20, and then 30. And these last couple months, it's gone above what I was manifesting, above what I was really prepared for. And it really, because I have the belief that I'm not good with money, it really started like all of these super intense panic attacks, because I'm like, what the fuck do I do with $50,000 a month? I don't know what people like, what do you do with it? I don't know. I'm so lost. And so even still, like, as you go, you'll be like, I've got this. I'm like the best at manifesting. This is so fucking easy for me. You'll uncover something that you're like, okay, I've got to work on that one to get to the next level. It's exactly like an onion. There's always a level, because a lot of this shit happens when you're 5, 6, 7 years old, and you don't remember it now, because who remembers buying ice cream from the ice cream truck? But it'll pop up at you when the issue is like actually in front of your face.
Yeah, I didn't remember it until one day. I was just like, oh, it was like, oh my God, I remember that. And I'm like, that's where that came from, that I'm bad with money. So Sarah asked a question, which I think is probably a lot of people are asking. Explain what 3D is. I've heard it in several of your videos, but I don't know exactly what it is.
So it goes kind of like deep into this whole thing of like, you are actually the god of your reality. If you believe in like a higher power, whether you call it God, the universe, Gaia, whatever, essentially what it is that you are the God that rules your universe. You're just here to experience it, like in the 3D, to work through things. So what the 3D is, it's saying like everything around you that you can physically touch, see, hear, smell, taste, whatever, is your 3D. Everything around you that you experience is your 3D. The theory behind that being that everything is actually an illusion. So, because I'm sure you've heard like time is an illusion. All of the things that you can physically experience are also illusions based on the assumptions that you have in your mind. And there's an infinite number of realities happening at the same time. When you are manifesting, what you're doing is actually stepping into or aligning with or moving into whatever, a different version of reality. You're physically changing the 3D surroundings around you by going into another reality. That's why a lot of people, when they get like really into it, or experience it, like they can go from having $0 to having millions of dollars the next day. They're jumping into a different 3D by using their mind. So they're experiencing something different. So the 3D is just what it is that is around you that you can feel, see, touch, hear. They're the things that you're wanting to change or experience or not experience or have or not have.
Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you. All right, Anna. Hi, Teanna. Could you expand a bit more on how can manifestation help with when overwhelm takes place? I get overwhelmed sometimes when I have a lot to do and a short amount of time to accomplish the task.
So one of the things I find is I ask myself how I want to feel. And I do this like a couple of different ways, but I basically, when I'm super overwhelmed, right? You ask yourself, how do I feel right now? I feel overwhelmed. I feel frustrated. I feel constrained. A lot of the times when I feel overwhelmed is when my insecurities start really popping up. So if I'm super overwhelmed and have a lot to do, I'll find that like, I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like everything is falling apart. I feel like all I'm doing is fucking everything up. And I'm like, okay, that's what I'm currently feeling. How do I want to feel? I want to feel calm. I want to feel, my two big ones are safe and secure. I want to feel in control. And so even though your mind is like freaking out from overwhelm and you can physically feel the tornado around you, you just start repeating, I am safe, I am secure, I am calm, I am in control. I am safe, I am secure, I am calm, I am in control. Even like take a break for 10 minutes and go to like imaginary land and use that. Like if I felt safe and secure and in control, what would I be doing? How would I be reacting? What would I be experiencing? How would I be speaking? Who would I be around? And so you go to imaginary land and experience what it would feel like if you were not overwhelmed, or if you were not frustrated, or if you were not completely out of control. Like, how would it feel to be safe and secure and calm? And you let yourself feel that for 10 minutes. And then you quit your break and you go about your day, or you take another break if you need to. When I'm super overwhelmed, I will take 4 or 5 breaks in a row where I'm in my room for an hour and I do not care because I need it. So you just ask yourself what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, ask yourself how you want to feel and what you want to experience, and then affirm or take a break for those things.
Yes.
And you can change the way you feel.
Because it's overwhelm is made up, and that I don't have enough time is made up. Like what you said about like time, like whenever I feel like I don't have enough time, or I don't have enough time to do everything I want, I just think of Reese Witherspoon. Right? Because Reese Witherspoon, if you go look at Reese Witherspoon's IMDb Pro, she has like 20 fucking films, you guys, in pre-production, in script, or in production. And I think, okay, she has the same amount of time a day that I have. Yes, she probably has 50 assistants. I get that. But she has the same amount of time that I have. Right? And so it's like, it's all in your head. The overwhelm and the time is so much in your head. So much in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you. All right. So Cass has a question and she corrects herself down here. Can you manifest something to occur within a specific period of time? I am cast in the role of Athena in the pilot Craziness. That's her manifestation.
Okay. You can manifest things to happen in a certain amount of time. What I find though is a lot of the time people will give you instructions on how to do that, like by saying, I have this role by January 31st, 2023, right? And kind of the issue with that I have found is that when you put a really specific date on it. As the date approaches, you become kind of frantic with your affirmations. Like you'll have this self-talk that's kind of fighting with you. So like by January 20th, you know, you're repeating, I have this role by January 31st, but then you have this like voice that pops off saying, haha, you have 11 days. It hasn't happened yet. And then every day as it gets closer, it's like, haha, you have 10 days, you have 9 days, you have 8 days. And so you start contradicting yourself because you start focusing on how it hasn't happened yet, on how there's almost no time left, on how it hasn't worked for you. And when you start getting into that mode, you're doing more harm than good at that point because you're focusing on how it hasn't happened yet. So I prefer to not put specific dates on my manifestations. What I will do is I look for signs. They look different to everyone, but for me, like numbers are a big thing. So I like repeating numbers, and I like dual numbers. So like 44, 77, 12, 34, because it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 11, 123, like those sorts of things. And so anytime I see anything like that, or if I see like the number 44 over here and then the number 44 over here on something, I hype myself up. Like really, in all reality, it's probably not a sign from the universe. It's probably not anything other than I like it. But when I see it, I'm like, oh my God, the universe is giving me a sign. This is happening super soon. I'm so excited. And so I use everything as like a hype up. Like, you know, I could see like a book that halfway pertains to what it is that I'm manifesting. And I'm like, oh my God, look, it's a sign. This means it's going to happen super fast. And so you just like hype yourself up as often as possible. Like when you see signs, you can ask the universe for a sign, like a butterfly or so. And so then every time you see a butterfly, you're like, oh my God, this is going to happen super fast. And you just really hype yourself up with it when you see the things, telling yourself that it's coming super fast. Or when you are like going to imaginary land, I hype myself up for doing things I want to do anyway. So after I take my break and I go to imaginary land, I like spend time congratulating myself because I'm like, look at you. You are so fucking awesome. You went to imaginary land and you felt it and you experienced it. And that means it's going to happen super soon. I'm so proud of you because the shit is like going down this weekend. Like I just hype myself up as I go versus putting a specific date on things so that I don't end up feeling like I'm up against a super time crunch.
And I want to say something about that, specifically about wanting a role, because this is when it's going to be shot. First of all, things get pushed all the time. That's the first thing. The second thing is I have a very good friend that was up for a TV show many years ago, and she did not get it. Well, then they got into production with the girl that did get it, and she didn't work out, and they fired her and then hired her, right? There's a million things that can happen. I auditioned for A Single Man with Colin Firth, with Tom Ford. I went into audition for the designer, Tom Ford, and he was lovely, and I had a great audition, and I didn't get it. Well, the producer of that film ended up putting me in another film that led me in a different direction in my career. So letting go of the time restraints, especially when you're asking about a TV show or a movie, is really important, because just keep putting yourself in the role in your manifestation. Don't worry about when they say it's going to be shot.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's a million things that could happen. And I feel like putting that time restraint on yourself allows it's like a limiting belief, because it's again getting into like the how, right? And there's a million things that could happen. So stay out of the how, just stay in what you want.
Yeah.
And so you know, that's really important. Okay, let's see. Okay, you guys, we are going to end in about 10 minutes or so. And so we will do our best to get to all your questions. Thank you for asking them. We really appreciate this. This has been our gift to you. I do want to say, if go to Teanna's YouTube page, please subscribe to it. And she's got an Etsy page. She's got a lot to offer. If you would like to talk to her, please do. I promised that we weren't going to sell anything on this webinar because this was really our gift to you, our holiday gift. But if I notice there's a lot of people that have never been here before. So if you do want to talk to us or you want to talk to Teanna, we will include Teanna's link and a link to our calendar in the email that we send out tomorrow. And if you want to talk to us about working with us further, or you want to talk to Teanna about working with her further, we will send you a link so you can get in touch with her or you can get in touch with us. That's all I'm going to say about that. But definitely it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe to her YouTube channel. Please do that because you saved my life in a lot of ways. So I want to say that.
Which is sweet.
Okay, Crystal Kerr. How do you let manifestation marinate throughout the day or when sleeping? And also, do dreams confirm if the manifestation is working?
So throughout the day, what I do, I want to share a practice with you. This was in my notes, but we didn't really get to it. So I'm going to just share it now. Like the
what do you do on a daily basis?
That I like to start my day is a very simple practice, because I think that when things are simple, it's easier to do and you're more likely to do it. So I started off on just one sheet of paper. I have a notebook dedicated to this. I start out by writing 5 affirmations. They're usually like all the same. So if you go through my notebook, you'll notice those 5 affirmations are the same every single day. Like I make $2,000 a day. My business exploded overnight. Whatever those 5 affirmations are. So I start by writing 5 affirmations. And then I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for. Gratitude is actually like one of the fastest ways to manifest. The vibration of the feeling of gratitude really puts your manifestations like on the express lane. So the more often you feel gratitude, it's kind of like being appreciated, right? So if you have a spouse or you have kids, when they like appreciate you, you feel more willing to do things for them. When they neglect you and just expect things from you, you're kind of like, fuck you. The universe is the same way. When it feels appreciated, it will want to naturally give you more. When it's just kind of like you want to take, the universe is like, I'll get to you and I'll get to you.
Mm-hmm.
So the 5 affirmations and then 5 things that I'm grateful for. And then I use the rest of the page for positive I am statements. And those just vary depending on whatever the fuck I'm doing. So it can be like, I am powerful, I am loved, I am the center of the universe, I am amazing, I am popular, I am the smartest, whatever, I am the best coach. Like you just like positive I am statements, and that's it. So I set the tone for marinating with manifestation by starting every day with those 5 affirmations, 5 gratitude statements, and then the rest of the page with I am statements. And then one of the easiest like rules to follow, you don't necessarily need to keep it like in the forefront of your mind 24/7, which is what a lot of people will teach you, and that feels impossible. The rule I follow is if I'm thinking about it, then I'm affirming for it. So like if I look at my bank account or if I start thinking about bills that are due, instead of doing my normal like calculations of I have $4,000, I'm going to spend 900 on this, so I have 3,100 left, and then I'm going to spend 500. Like that's how I normally go about it. I catch myself doing that, and I just started affirming like I always have more than enough money. Money loves me. Money comes to me easily. If I step on the scale and I'm paying attention to my weight, I just go into my weight loss affirmations. Like I lose weight no matter what I eat. I lose weight every day. Losing weight is the easiest thing I've ever done. If you're thinking about the topic, you want to be affirming for it versus affirming the reality, but you don't necessarily need to force yourself to think of it all the time, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's just if you're on the topic, be thinking beneficial thoughts instead of negative thoughts. And then what was the second part of her question?
Hold on, I'm going back down to
I just have a
also do dreams confirm if the manifestation is
okay. So the thing is kind of maybe sometimes your dreams are like just your subconscious mind being free to roam and do whatever it wants to do. So it could be picking up on your manifestations. It could also be picking up like someone else's random reality that they're creating. It could be picking up on like a TV show that you watched when you were 5. It really kind of depends. The way I do it is if it was a dream about something that you want and it made you really excited to experience that in a dream, then use that to affirm, kind of like I was talking about with the signs, like, oh my God, that means it's going to happen super soon. I'm so excited. This is great. Like you can decide what it means. And if it really is like inconsequential and it has no value to you, you could just be like, okay, well, my subconscious is just doing whatever it wants to do. So if it's beneficial, then like hype it up. If it has no meaning,
let it go.
Then it has no meaning.
Got it. That's great. That's a great answer. Emma, when I was trying to assume myself as a prosperous and successful actress, fears of bad reputation or scandals arose. How can I assume that only good stuff is going to happen to me as that magnificent actress that I already am?
So it took me a while to get used to this affirmation because at first it like really turned me off and made me feel icky. And I was actually very vocal about it. So now I sound like a hypocrite, but that's fine. An affirmation that I use for like those sorts of things is I love my life. My life is perfect. Everything always works out for me. Whether I'm manifesting money or stuff in my love life or stuff, health-wise, whatever, I keep that in the forefront of my mind. Like, I love my life. My life is perfect. Everything works out for me. So that I know that it's going to happen in a way that's beneficial to me versus, negative things happening like the bad reputation or bad tabloids or whatever. So you can just kind of throw that in with all of it. Like, I love my life. Everybody only says wonderful things about me. I have a stellar reputation. People really look up to me. I love my life. My life is perfect. Everything always works out for me. And just get feeling into that vibration of what it is that you want. A lot of people spend so much time manifesting like physical things that it's really often forgotten that you can manifest feelings and vibrations also. So if you want to feel like everyone loves you, like everything is positive about you, like you can manifest those things as well. So I would just throw in those affirmations with what it is that you're already affirming.
Right. That's like what you said, in a kind and gentle way. Like, I am the healthiest I've ever been, 143 pounds, and I feel fantastic. And and I got there in a kind and gentle way, right? Like, and I see that I hear that you do that when you keep evolving on your affirmations and the recordings that you did. I can really see that. Okay, great. Maggie says, is there a daily schedule of writing affirmations, daydreaming, 10 minutes imaginary land? Can you describe it?
Is there a daily schedule?
Yeah.
I don't actually set a schedule for me because like with the Thug Mermaid business and all that, like I have employees that are here right now. It's Christmas break. I have my kids that are home, and so planning out those kinds of things is kind of impossible. I really just do it when I want to. One of the things with manifestation is that manifestation is super personal, and it's all about how you feel. So if you start looking at other teachers, you're going to find that there are a lot of different techniques that people try to teach, and they'll really often be like, this is the only technique that works. This is, the only technique that is ever manifested for me, whatever. And they can be talking about like quantum water jumping. They can be talking about scripting. They can be talking about the 3-6-9 method. They can be talking about really anything. It could be something that they pulled out of their fucking ass, like just a completely made up technique, but it's the newest thing. The thing with manifesting is that honestly, the technique doesn't fucking matter whatsoever. What matters is how you feel about it. So if you really hate writing and you feel like you have to script every day, and as you're doing it, you're thinking like, oh my God, I fucking hate this. I hate writing. This is miserable. I just want to be done. Like, do you really think you're going to manifest that much by doing that? You might be putting in the actions, but your vibration is like, I fucking hate this. So you might as well just not even do it, right? The way manifestation works is by doing what feels good to you. So just ask yourself, like, what would feel good right now? And if the answer is, I want to go to imaginary land, then go to imaginary land. If the answer is, I want to sit and write my goals, then sit and write your goals. If the answer is, I want to go on an affirmation rampage, like, then do that. Like, there is no set schedule. It's just about doing what feels good to you, because what feels good to you is what will help you manifest.
Awesome. That was perfect. I'm going to try to get through these, and so we might go just a slight over, but I'm going to try to do my best to get through this. Is manifestation and faith in the same realm? Asking because I live my life by faith, because I have been sick more than half my life, but I have a passion for performing.
You said, is manifestation and faith
in the same realm? In the same realm.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't really realize it, but like religion and manifestation are so much the same, just that manifestation doesn't have all of the rules and the structure. Like when you're praying, right?
Yes.
What you're doing is affirming. You're asking God / the universe for an outcome that you desire. You're asking them to make it happen. When you're manifesting and you're affirming, you're asking the universe for something and asking them to make it happen. Like, they're very, very much the same. There just might be a different system of beliefs in accomplishing the same goal. When you are manifesting, you do have to have faith. You have to have faith that when you say something is going to happen, that it's going to happen, that the universe is going to fulfill that for you, that it's going to be true. Like, you almost have to have more faith in the sense that you believe it's already done before you actually see it. Like, when you're manifesting that you're a millionaire, and you made some like gestures earlier, and I was going to bring this up because you were talking about like how people go into an audition like this like
Yes.
begging for something
Yes.
versus like, this
I'm
is
here.
fucking mine.
Yes.
Manifestation is the same way. If you go into it without faith, what you're doing is like, please God, please universe, will you please hand this to me? Like, I really feel like I deserve it. And it would be
Yes.
super great if it worked out, right? Like when you go at it really meek and not super faithful about it, it's a completely different vibe than like, the fucking universe has got this. I'm gonna receive it. This is mine. Like this part's already done. I don't give a shit. Like nothing's gonna ruin this. The end. When
Yeah.
you have that immense amount of faith, of knowing it's already done, you come at it from a place of it's already done, it's already mine, nothing's gonna fuck it up. So yeah, faith and manifestation go hand in hand.
Absolutely. I want to jump to Violetta's question here because I feel this a lot. How do you deal with graphic, intrusive thoughts? Not the sugar-coated version, the actual intrusive thoughts. When I get them, I become upset or grossed out with myself and worry that I might accidentally manifest something terrible. And how do you remain
Right.
patient and grateful when it seems to be taking so long for manifestation and hard work to pay off?
So the first part of that, it's funny because I was thinking about it the other day. I don't remember what it was. I think my daughter, okay, my kids are old, right? Like they're 15 and 16. They are fairly self-sufficient. They are whatever. And I am a very overprotective parent. And so she wanted to walk to the park that is literally a block from my house. Like, not an exaggeration. You can see the park from my house. It is a block away. And I had a difficult time saying yes. And as she was walking there, I'm like, oh my God, what if my kid gets kidnapped? And I could see like the van in my head, pulling her into the van and driving away, and her phone dropping on the street, and there's no way to track her. And like I had this very vivid scene in my head of my child getting kidnapped, right? And as I'm like playing it in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to think about that. Like, I don't want to make that happen. And then I kind of started freaking out. Like, what if I already started it? What if it's going to happen now? What if, right? And first of all, the first thing you do is just take a very cleansing breath. So you stop playing the picture in your head. Like take a cleansing breath, exhale, get that out, relax a little bit. And then I remind myself that only beneficial things manifest. I only manifest the things that are good for me because I love my life and my life is perfect and everything works out for me. My children are safe. My children are healthy. Everything works out for me. And so you just, first of all, like kind of release the track that you're on, and then start thinking about what it is that you actually want to happen. So that's how I move through that.
That's great.
The second part, I think, was about it taking
And
a
that
long time.
she's been working so long towards this thing that she wants. And I know this about her because she's a client, and it's not happening it's not coming to her.
Okay. So usually what that means to me when I have somebody tell me they've been like manifesting it for a long time and it's not happening, first, either like you don't actually believe it's possible, or second, you don't believe it's possible for you. And that's where self-concept comes in. Self-concept is the way that you view yourself and the way you want others to view you and how you want to behave and act and speak in reality, right? And so what I do is I ask myself, how would I feel? We'll just use like the sitcom example again, right? How would I feel if I had this leading role in a sitcom? I would feel accomplished. I would feel proud. I would feel successful. I would feel more secure with money. I would feel, adored or loved or whatever. Like, so you dig into how you would feel. And then you dig into like who you would be. I would be, Oh my God, I can't even remember the word because I never feel this way. But I would feel, or I would be like assertive, I would be respected, I would be admired, I would be whatever. And then you change those into I am statements. So instead of focusing on like, I am so grateful for my leading part in this sitcom, instead of affirming for that, you would just start affirming for how you feel and who you are. I am accomplished. I am proud of myself. I am secure. I am strong. I am admired. I have more than enough money. Everything works out for me. I am so happy to have this part. I am so glad I didn't give up. I am persistent. I am, and you just start affirming for the person that you want to be versus the actual physical thing.
That's, I hope you heard that, Violetta, because that is perfect for you. Like, get into the person that you want to be, right? I think that's really good. Thank you for that. That was
Yeah.
me. All right. Hearing you, the idea that religion says you're supposed to not wish or want money popped into my mind. I think it's also a female thing. Like, I've run up against that. Like, oh, I can't be a millionaire because I'm a woman. That pops up for me a lot.
No, that actually pops up, like I said, as a single mom since I was, 22. I really had that belief growing up. You need to have a 2-person household. The male makes most of the money. The women's money is like the spending money, but the real wealth comes from the husband. And then, I hit 30 years old and I still didn't have another husband to make the money for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to have to do this all by myself. I'm going to have to buy a house by myself. I'm going to have to, create the bank accounts by my, like, so it's very, actually, our society is very like leaned towards men and wealth, and women just kind of sit in the corner and look pretty, right? Yeah. So it is something that women have to work through when they are manifesting money. Is, what did religion teach them? What did their parents teach them? What roles do they think they need to have? Like, when I talked about how I had the affirmation cards set up all over my house, I know there are some that specifically say, like, it is safe for me to be a single mother with a lot of money, because I had to really work through that even though I was single and a young mother, I could still make money, because more often than not, it's portrayed as someone who like struggles until the end of time. There are a lot of conditions and assumptions and beliefs that are passed down from society and from religion when it comes to money. Absolutely. So it's just unpeeling those like the onion that we talked about, so that you can uncover what it is that you believe and then change that into a beneficial belief.
Yes. Perfect. All right. This is a great thing. When as actors, we use imaginary circumstances to emotionally prepare for difficult scenes and terrible traumatic things happening, how important is it to counteract those negative imaginings, especially when performing a show night after night? So we hear that a lot, Teanna, like, actors not being able to separate themselves from the reality they have to be putting themselves. If, for instance, there are 8 performances a week playing a serial killer.
Right.
Right.
So I actually really enjoy that question because I've never been asked it before.
Yeah, I'm sure you haven't.
Just thinking about it, I think the way that I would go about it is just affirming that, this is my job and I'm super amazing at my job. Everybody believes me and gives me compliments on my performance because I can fill that role so good. And I'm so fucking amazing at what I do. But I know that it doesn't enter my physical reality. My job is separate from my life. That is just my job. My job is separate from my life. That is just my job. And so I would just kind of affirm that the two are separate, right? And then work on affirming for what it is that you're manifesting so that that's like the primary thought in your head. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I want to add a couple things. Deanie said Michael Chekhov, and his method is really good for that. And I agree with Deanie on that. And I have played really, really bad people for 8 performances a week. And I want to tell you that, you know, just like anything else as a skill set, like you have something that you do when you get to the theater to warm up, to get ready, you should also have something that you do after the show is over to release that. Right. So when I played a really super evil person for 8 performances a week for months, right, I would go into a corner and I would deconstruct. So I would do a laughter exercise. Like I would just laugh, even if, and you know, laughing is just like crying is a breath-based thing. And so I would find that breath of laughter and I would laugh at something. Another thing that can be really good is like watching an episode of Seinfeld or Will and Grace or whatever makes you laugh, to release that, because it is like a pressure cooker and you have to release the steam off of you. Or it can be really hard if you carry that around with you. But thank you for asking that question, because what a great question. I know Teanna's never heard that. So thank you so much. Oh, Angela, it was Angela. And Angela just played a very difficult role in a big motion picture. So you know, and so it's hard to bring that and hold on to that and then find a way to let it go. Thank you, Angela. That was great. So last question, Dawn Durrell says, is hypnotism with a professional hypnotist a faster link to accessing your subconscious, or is creating your own affirmations the same thing?
So fun story, because I didn't tell you guys this in the beginning. My journey into manifestation actually started with hypnotism. I am a certified professional hypnotist. And because of that is where I really started getting into the subconscious mind and how it works and how beliefs work and all of that stuff. And through studying the subconscious mind is when I found manifestation, and I realized that that's literally what you're doing, right? The thing with that is that hypnotism has a lot of stereotypes. Hypnotism has a lot of kind of expectations, like people think they're going to be hypnotized once and then all their fears are gone, and they don't realize that they also still need to put in the work by like affirming. And anyway, so it got to where like hypnotism alone wasn't really doing it, and that's when I started getting into like the affirmations and all of that. But like I can't speak for other coaches. In my work specifically, like my guided meditations are technically hypnosis audios. And then I also do have like actual straight up hypnosis audios for reprogramming your subconscious mind. I have a couple free ones that you can get through YouTube or my website. But hypnosis is basically the same thing as affirming. It's reprogramming your subconscious mind. It's just what method you want to go about doing it. With hypnosis, it's not difficult, but the important, I guess, aspect of it is that everyone's subconscious mind is wired differently. And so you have a lot of people passing off like hypnosis audios as like the end all be all answer, right? Like you have a fear of flying, here's a hypnosis audio. The reason that that might not be effective is because you can have 10 different people who are scared of flying, and they're all scared of flying for a different reason.
Yes.
And that audio, I will tell you, is impossible for it to hit or pinpoint on all 10 reasons why these people are scared of flying. And so the audio might work for 1 or 2 of them, and the other 8 are like, what the fuck? In order for it to really be effective, you have to do your hypnosis kind of one-on-one and have it actually personalized for you, so that it hits on why you have, you know, the fear, the phobia, or the belief, etc., so that it can actually be released. And so hypnosis, it's just not something that's necessarily accessible to everyone, because it does need to be personalized. A lot of those like audios that you can buy for $10 or $12 are just not really going to be super effective because they're not personalized towards you. And so for me, it got very difficult because it actually takes like a lot of energy out of me to do hypnosis. And I'm sure you guys can I'm sure when you're like doing your acting parts, because of the energy that you put into it, like you can feel drained afterwards and you need time to like recover and
Yes.
and recuperate. Hypnosis is like the same. I don't know if it's for all hypnotists, but I know for me, because I put so much of myself into it, I need time to rest and recover afterwards. So I can only handle maybe 12 sessions a week, and it's impossible to really create like large scale change by doing 12 sessions a week, right? So I wanted to find ways of reprogramming the subconscious mind that people could do themselves, which is why I have done like affirmations the way that I do them, or intentions the way that I do them, or why I teach the way I teach, because it's helping you kind of hypnotize yourself in a way so that it is still personal to you, without, first of all, spending $300 for a session or having to wait for 8 months because it takes a long time to get a session in. So yes, hypnosis can be more effective, but there's a lot of downsides to it, which is why I try to go about it in a way where people can do it on themselves.
That was awesome. Oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. We so
Absolutely. Thank you for
appreciate you
having
being
me.
here. And for you guys that, you know, are new to this or just learning about this, you know, I recommend that you know, really start to write down, really start to do the investigation of what do you want? Because I ask actors every day, what do you want? And 90% of them can't tell me. And, you know, they'll say to me, well, Valerie, I just want to be a working actor. And I'm like, okay, do you have a job? Yes. Do you call yourself an actor? Yeah. Okay, you're already getting that. Like, so, you know, get specific about what you want. And I highly recommend watching. In fact, I have to tell you, Teanna, when I was in the hospital, the woman next to me had gone in for 2 days, and 12 days later, she was still there. And young mom of 2 young girls, you know, and she was in a spin of like, and I told her to watch you. I was like, you need to watch this girl. She's really helping me a lot. And she's like, thank you for telling me that. And so I tell everyone about you now. And now I have my husband turned on to you. And so thank you.
You're gonna turn me all red.
Well, thank you for coming into my life. And thank you. And I know Sarah wants me to say thank you for coming into our lives. We so appreciate what you brought to us, and we brought you to our clients and other actors. So because
Thank you.
it's hard, and we really love you, and thank you for being here. I hope you have a happy holiday season, and
You too.
and happy holidays to everyone on here. Thank you so much for being here. Remember we'll send out the recording tomorrow, and we'll send you out any pertinent links, and that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody. It was amazing. I really enjoyed being able to teach again. So thank you.
Will. Okay. All right, you guys. Happy holidays, and we'll see you on the other side. We'll have a few more clients, but we'll see you on the other side. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Teanna.
Bye.
Okay, bye.